Salama family, salama, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. What I want to talk, this is not going to be long. Now, I'm gonna also leave this open for questions at the end. Some things I'm not going to talk about, obviously, but this particular video here that Hawkeye is talking about, you need to watch. Right, you need to watch it. You can go to ODC, ODYSEE, or you could go to BitChute. Probably one of the most important videos you ever see in your entire life. That's my opinion. Okay, and this is why you need to subscribe to these alternate sites like ODC and BitChute, because there's things I can't talk about, right? And understand that the extended channel is shut down for a week because I talked about it, and I barely said anything. Okay, all I did was go through their documentation. But y'all have to understand the times we're living in. I'm gonna tell you the way I feel about it right now is, my heart aches for us as a people, and really my heart aches for the world, because we're in some deep doo-doo. And understand that the world doesn't understand. Your family don't understand. Your family just like little sheep without a shepherd. The ones who don't listen, even who are Israelites, they're like sheep without a shepherd. And I'm really expecting, this is just me, don't put no timelines on me, I'm expecting a second Exodus very soon. Why? Because it's that dire. It is that dire. And if you don't go watch that video, you're going to do yourself a disservice. I told you to go to ODC and BitChute, and you should register on those platforms, because I can't talk about stuff here, obviously. But if you don't want to know what's going on, that's on you. I'm trying to save lives here. Okay, now understand that what's going on is because of you, Israel. I don't care what nobody says. At the end of the 400 years, all hell broke loose. That's why I call this the rightful heirs. Let somebody tell you that there is no 400-year prophecy. Let them tell you that it doesn't matter. All I know is what I see with my eyes, that after the 400 years, all hell broke loose. And it ain't like we made up the 400 years after the 400 years. We came up with that from the scriptures before it even happened and told you what was going to happen. But you got to understand, at least the way I see it, the reason why so many people are angry at Israelites is because the heir to the fortune has returned. The royal prince of the house of Judah has returned. I'm not talking about the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He hasn't come back yet, but we are his family. We are part of the royal bloodline. I told you that. I did the study on it. But they tell you there's no more Jew, Greek, slave free. There's no more Judah, whatever. Thank you for the gift, Naaman. There's no more Jew, Greek. It doesn't matter that you're Israel, but it does. I showed you that in the scriptures, and I dare anybody to come and prove me wrong. Understand that when the heirs come back to get their inheritance, those who stole their inheritance are angry. Those who stole their inheritance will do everything to keep it. They will lie. They will cheat. They will say, if I can't have it, you can't have it. You ever heard of the Samson option? This is what we're dealing with. But if you don't go watch that video, that is fine. I'm telling you, it is probably one of the most important videos you should watch ever, because it is explaining what's happening. It is explaining what's happening with many people today. It's explaining that. So, you know, I always have to come with a few scriptures. And after I do these scriptures, I'm going to leave it open for some questions. And if y'all don't have questions, right, then I'm going to end it, because I told you it's not going to be very long. I just wanted to let you all know the situation that we're in, the situation that your family's in, the situation that the world is in. They are literally at war with us, and they are at war with the Most High. And if you can't see that, I'm sorry for you. I'm talking to all of y'all. I'm talking to my family members. I'm talking to all of y'all. I'm talking to Israelites. I'm talking to Christians. If you can't see that we are in a warfare, I'm just going to pray for you. And you know, it's up to you to remain deaf, dumb, and blind. It's up to you to remain deaf, dumb, and blind. It's like when you go to a class and the teacher has the books and she's writing on the board and she's giving you instruction and teaching you about things. It's up to you whether or not you pay attention or not. Some of you all want to fail a class. That is fine. That is your prerogative. Some of you all cannot take what we call hard sayings, or what somebody call negative. Well, life is negative sometimes. We are in the book of Revelation. I don't care what you say. We are in the book of Revelation. We are literally in around chapter 12 and 13, in my opinion. Now, understand this, that when the prince comes back, right, the rightful heir to the throne, then the one who's sitting on that throne is threatened. So the one who's sitting on that throne, who usurped the throne by deception, has to come in and do everything he can. So what he does, he sends out spies, he sends out agents, right, to find out where this prince is, because they know that the prince is coming back. And if the prince comes back, then he's going to claim his rightful rulership on the throne. Because the original king, right, they disposed of him, and his seed, the prince, is returning to reclaim what was stolen. But guess what? It's not going to be that easy, because the unrightful king, the unrightful ruler, he has armies. He has spies who he sends out to go and try to find. You've seen the movie. To go out and try to find the rightful heir so that he can be destroyed before he arrives. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with all hands on deck. We're dealing with DEFCON 1 or 5. I don't know which one is the worst. I think it's 5. DEFCON 5 to the one who usurped the throne. And they're going to lie. They're going to deceive. They're going to hire some of your own people to lie to you and to deceive you so that they can maintain power. So, you know, we've been through these scriptures before, but I want to talk about it real quick through, this venue. or this avenue, right? So the valley of dry bones. See, the hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out of this by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and fought among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. Thank you, Yehukanan, for the gift. Thank you, Isarp, for the gift. The bones were very dry. He asked me, son of man, can these bones live? So automatically we know one thing, that the bones are dead. Everybody thought that the bones were dead, no longer to be revived, because who could revive such a thing? So the question is, can these bones live? I said, sovereign Lord, you alone know. Thank you, Brew Queen, for the gift. Then he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath into you and you will come back to life. See, they were dead. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. See, what happened was the king that was on the throne, who usurped the kingdom by flatteries, the king who took the rightful heirs' land, who took the rightful heirs' throne, he thought it was over because he saw that these bones were dead, dry. Who could ever bring it back to life? So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. See, thank you, Jamarcia, for the gift. The bones rattled. The bones rattled. Thank you, beautiful mind, for the gift. The bones rattled. Wait, what you mean? You mean to tell me black folks, the true Israelites of the Bible, you telling me they got proof of that? You telling me that these people who were known by a byword, the ones that we stepped on and crushed, are the true inheritors of the land, the true inheritors of the kingdom? This is the royal house. But now, those things that they thought were dead is now alive. And guess what? They're making noise. They're saying they're going back to Africa. They say that they're the original heirs to the kingdom. They're rattling. They're making a bunch of noise. Make them quiet again, says the usurping king. Put them back in the ground, says the usurping king. I'm not giving back the land that I stole with my intellect and my intrigue and my conniving. Make them quiet before the rest of the nations hear and steal and give back the land that I stole. Tell these Negroes, shut up. It don't matter no more that you Israel. Okay, you might be Israel, but it don't matter no more because there's no more Jew Greek. See, the usurper has stolen the throne. Thank you, Sheila, for the gift. The usurper has stolen the throne, and since the usurper stole the throne, you don't have no more right to it. It's ours. You don't have a right to the kingdom because it's ours. We're going to put you back in that dirt, which is what the plans you're seeing happening now. We're going to put you back in that dirt, old dry bones that are now alive, coming back to life with sinews, coming back together as a kingdom, coming back together as God's chosen. We thought you were gone. You can't come back now. You were dead We saw it for ourselves, says the king who usurped the throne. We saw it for ourselves that you were dead. And nobody could wake you back up. You ain't even know who you were. As a matter of fact, we stepped on the bones that was in the desert. We stepped all on it to make sure you were dead. You look like dust. How you gonna tell me you coming back and now you gonna take the throne? No. So now it's the conniving, it's the usurping again. They're trying to do what they did before, and they're gonna, all the other people of the kingdom, aka nations, all the other people of the kingdom are now looking to see what's gonna happen. Who's gonna win? The dry bones or the current king who must rule through a hammer? Thank you for the gift, Arthur. So now you got the dry bones and you got the king. He's sitting on a usurped throne. And so the rightful heir is coming and saying, hey, guess what? We're back. And the usurping king sends out his armies to stop the rightful heir from gaining rulership. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, prophesy, son of man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, breath from the four winds, and breathe into these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood on their feet, a vast army. Ooh, an army. You telling me the rightful heir has an army? Then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. The dead bones, the dry bones were who? The people of Israel. You mean the rightful heir has awakened, who was supposed to be dead, who was dust in the ground, who was known by a byword, ain't nobody cared. Now they're rattling, making noise. We can't have this. Thus, at the end of the 400 years, all hell breaks loose. Thank you, Ernest Hicks, for the gift. Thank you, House of Judah, for the gift. Understand, at the end of the 400 years, there was a rattling. Then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up and our hope is gone. We are cut off. See, Israel woke up and said, look, how are we going to get this kingdom back? We know it's ours. We know who we are, but how are we going to get it back? Because it was usurped by a evil king who maintains control over our kingdom, who maintains control over our inheritance. How can we ever get it back? Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord said, my people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken and I have done it, declares the Lord. So the evil king say, no, you can't have it back. The evil king said, you were dead. You were dust in the field. You were no longer in existence. And so now that Israel has awakened, Israel said, look, how do we get this thing back? Thank you, Marilyn Luma, for the gift. How do we get this thing back? The Most High said, you ain't got to worry about that. I got it. The Most High said, you ain't got to worry about that. I got it. I'm going to put you back in that land. Thank you, Arthur, for the gift. I'm going to put you back in that land. Thank you, Marilyn Luma, for the gift. I'm going to put you back. I'm going to restore the inheritance to the rightful heirs. I am going to do it. So the Most High says what? I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord. Remember the study I did about Israel being a witness to who the Most High is. So Israel, a nation that was no longer in existence, Israel, who was no longer known as Israel, Israel, who was held captive, now is awake. The rightful heirs is coming to get what's there. Thus the enemy says, nah, you can't do that. And Israel like, how are we going to take this back? And the Most High said, don't worry about it. I got this. You ain't got to do nothing. Sit back and see the salvation of the Lord. But understand this, that while Israel is awakening, you have some people who are Israelites who are not paying attention to the fact that the rulership is being opposed, that the rightful heirs are being opposed. So you have some trusting Israelites who's going along, not understanding that the rightful heirs, it's time to take the kingdom. It's time to take the kingdom. Israel was only to do captivity for 400 years. I don't care what nobody tells you. It's obvious that at the end of 400 years, all hell broke loose. So deal with that. Explain that to me, 400-year haters. At the end of 400 years, all hell is breaking loose. And like I told you, you need to go to the other channels. You have to, because you're not going to get everything here. You're not going to get it because I can't talk about everything here. You need to go sign up at ODC and BitChute. Now, I'm also at Hebrew Connect TV. But understand that Hebrew Connect TV, I can't always upload my videos. So that's why I don't recommend that one too much, because I'm having issues. Until I get that resolved, then then I can recommend it all the time. I don't know what the issue is with it though. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Right? So let's continue. The word of the Lord came unto me, son of man, take a stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Judah and the Israelites associated with him. Then take another stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Joseph, that is to Ephraim, and all the Israelites associated with him. Join them together into one stick, so that they will become one in your hand. Now we got that army, and they're becoming one nation again, and they're coming back with an army to fight the army of the evil king. The rightful heirs are coming back with an army to take their inheritance back. But don't get it twisted. The evil king is coming with his army to oppose that. And see, the problem with many Israelites is that they don't understand that the evil king is coming to oppose their rightful rulership. Why wouldn't he? He's an evil king. Understand that the evil king is sending out his army to put you back in the grave. The evil king is coming to make sure that you are again turned into dust. And some of you all don't understand that you're on the battlefield. And while you're in the midst of a battle, you are trusting your enemy. While it is time for you to regain your inheritance, I told you, I believe we're going to be leaving soon. I don't know what soon is in relative terms, 1 year, 2 years, 3. I can't say. I'm telling you what I see, because I don't see how we can survive. Verse 18, when your people ask you, won't you tell us what you mean by this? Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I'm going to take the stick of Joseph, which is in Ephraim's hand, and of Israelite tribes associated with him, and join it to the Judah stick. I will make them into a single stick of wood, and they will become one in my hand. Hold before their eyes the sticks you have written on, and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will take this Israelites out of the nations where they have gone. See, that's why, because Israel was scattered amongst the nations as slaves. They were dry bones. They were no longer a nation. For all purposes, Israel as a kingdom ceased to exist. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land on the mountains of Israel. Two nations, or be divided into two kingdoms. All right, I know I went silent, family. Give me a one if you can hear me. Please give me a one if you can hear me. They will no longer defile themselves with their idols and vile images, or with any of their offenses, for I will save them from all their sinful backsliding, and I will cleanse them. They will be my people, and I will be their God. See, the rulership is returning. You ever notice the similarities in the stories? Remember, I told you the Most High, that Yeshua himself is a light to the Gentiles. Remember, I told you that. I also told you that Israel is a light to the Gentiles. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you that God is going to put his glory upon him, and therefore the Gentiles are going to be drawn to the brightness of their rising? Didn't I tell you that? But did I also tell you that as you see with the nation of Israel, as she has died and she's resurrected, same thing with our Savior, Yeshua. He died, he was resurrected. He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He's going to sit on that throne that the enemy has stolen, because the rightful heirs are back. The rightful king is returning. Understand that what we're dealing with here is a war of rulership. This is why you see such a global situation happening today, because the Most High is judging the nations and he's returning. The rightful heirs are also returning. This is a fact. But some of you all don't understand that in the midst of the return is a battle. In the midst of the return is a war. And you are on the battlefield. You are on the battlefield. And the royal house has come back. The royal house has come back. And the royal house is coming back to take what is theirs. But understand that as the royal house returns, there is resistance. I told you, you need to go register at LDC. You need to go register at BitChute. You need to register at Hebrew Connect TV. Because guess what? You're not going to be able to get the commands. You're not going to be able to get the information about what's happening on the battlefield. Because guess what? Some of the information is just for the royal house. Everybody can't have access to the information because we're in the midst of a battle. And if you don't register there, then you won't get the information that's happening on the battlefield. Judah has marched on the kingdom of the enemy and has taken the walls. You know, you're not going to hear that. Judah has broke through the gates of the castle. You're not going to get that. Judah has made it to the inner court of the enemy's kingdom and has taken back the throne. See, if you don't register, you ain't gonna hear that, because I can't tell you about military maneuvers unless you on a better platform, because the enemy controls this one. So if the enemy controls this one, shouldn't you be on a platform where the enemy doesn't control? Because you're not gonna get all the information. As I told you, the video that I did yesterday is probably one of the most important videos I've ever done that you should watch. Verse 24, my servant David will be king over them, and they will all have one shepherd. They will follow my laws and be careful to keep my decrees. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors lived. They and their children and their children's children will live there forever. And David, my servant, will be their prince forever. I will make a covenant of peace with them. It will be an everlasting covenant. I will establish them and increase their numbers. And I will put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be with them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. The nations will know that I, the Lord, make Israel holy when my sanctuary is among them forever. See, the rulership has returned. The heirs have returned. They've taken back the kingdom that the enemy has stolen. That's the end of the story. But some are going to say, how do we know y'all the original heirs? We have several people claiming to be the rightful heirs of the kingdom of Judah. How do we know you are the rightful heirs? Well, you know, we showed you the history. We showed you the documentation. We showed you what the Bible says. Well, that ain't enough. How do we know? Let me see the will. You may have conquered the kingdom. You may have taking the throne room of the evil king, but we as the nations of people who are under that kingdom, we not sure you the rightful prince. We not sure you are the rightful heir. How do we know you are the rightful heir? For this reason, Christ is the mediator of a new covenant, that those who are called may receive the promised eternal inheritance. Now that he has died as a ransom to set them free from the sins committed under the first covenant. In the case of a will, it is necessary to prove the death of the one who made it. Now, understand, our king died, but he was rose from the dead. Understand that Israel died. We saw it. She was dry bones. But now she's back. Don't tell me you can't see the parallels here. I told you there's a role for Israel. I'm talking about the bloodline. I'm not saying there's no roles for Gentiles, but it's not the same role that's for the bloodline. Because the bloodline was chosen for a reason. So the heirs have awakened. The king is returning. The dry bones are now coming together, making noise. Israel, you making too much noise. You bringing too much attention. Thank you, Divine Seed, for the gift. You bringing too much attention to the awakening. Israel, you keep saying that you the rightful heirs. You keep telling the nations you the rightful heir. You keep telling these people, the servants of the kingdom, that you are the rightful rulers. But they don't want you to rule over them. But now you have the will that shows that your king did leave an inheritance to you. And that will came in effect at the time that your king died. But they don't want to honor the will. So the king says he's coming back and he's going to put Israel back in the land that they were taken from. That Israel will rule again as a nation. I know that's not what they teach you in Christian churches. I understand. But this is the story of the Bible. Where do you think all these stories come from about the rightful king and the rightful prince? Where do you think the stories come from of the Count de Monte Cristo, right? The Count of Monte Cristo, he got in prison for something he didn't do. They put a mask on his head. And guess what? Everybody thought he was gone for good because he was in that prison on an island that no one can escape. But the Count of Monte Cristo got out. Israel got out. See, what they were scared of is that the Count of Monte Cristo might do to them, or the usurper, for what the usurper did to him. And guess what? That's what the Count of Monte Cristo did. He did to the usurper what the usurper did to him. See, this is the fear. This is why the armies are out. This is why they hate you, Israel. This is why so many plans, evil plans, are put into place. Because they are scared that what they did to you is going to happen to them. This is why you don't get no justice from Babylon, family. You're not going to get justice from Babylon because they're scared that what they did to you, you're going to do to them. But what happened at the end of the Count of Monte Cristo? He ended up being the richest guy ever. He ended up taking back control over all his inheritance. Everything they stole, he got back. Not only did he get the money back and the wealth, what else did the Count of Monte Cristo get? Revenge. You could call it vengeance, as the scripture says. Thank you, Real Morgan, for the gift. He got vengeance. You think that the Most High isn't going to get vengeance for you? Thank you, Real, for the gift. Thank you, Michelle, for the gift. Do you think the Most High not going to get vengeance? He says vengeance is his. And look what's happening to the world, and they can't even see it. I can't go into details. I told you go watch the video. Look at what's happening to the world. Vengeance is happening. So the Count of Monte Cristo was able to get all his wealth back, able to get vengeance on the guy who did, all that evil to him, put him back into the same prison that he escaped from, and put the same ass that was on him on that guy who usurped his inheritance. Let me put it in biblical terms. The Bible says that those who led into captivity will go into captivity. The Bible says that those who kill with the sword will be killed with the sword. The Bible says that Israel's enemies will become Israel's servants. I'm just saying, Israel's enemies are going to be put into that castle, and that mask is going to be put on their enemies' heads. But understand that the enemy that usurped the kingdom of Monte Cristo did not expect him to escape. And if he knew he had escaped, he would have went after him. He would have had his armies going out, hunting him down. He would have tried to put him back into that desert of dry bones. So, family, understand that the rightful heirs have returned. And you're not going to get the kingdom without a fight. You're not going to get the inheritance without a fight. Even though the heirs have returned, you're not going to get your inheritance without a fight. Now, before I end this, family, I said I would take some questions. Do you have any questions for me before we end? I just want to say that you got to understand the times we're living in. This isn't a game. And if nobody's warning you and telling you that this isn't a game, you need to understand that they're not your friend. Understand that the war we're in is real. And after you see the video that I did, I'm not going to even give you the name. If you won't find it, you'll find it. I showed it to you in the beginning. Understand that this is a game, and they are pulling the trigger. They got that hammer out on you. Understand that you must be in the mind of warfare. And even though some people not going to make it out of warfare, I told you that before, some people not going to make it. This is what happens when you're on the battlefield, especially those who not paying attention. Those who not paying attention in the midst of battle won't make it through the fight. Some of your family members who are on the battlefield, even though they don't know they're in the midst of a war, may not make it through the fight. We are literally in a fight because the heirs have returned to claim their inheritance. So you want to know how to get to the other sites. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show it to you, because I don't want to put it in the YouTube description, because sometimes they get removed, and sometimes the links don't work, right? So okay, I'm gonna show you both sites. You should be able to find it once you get there. Also, you can get to it if you go to Hebrew Sphere. I always post there too if you want to get to stuff, right? All right, so let's see. All right, so as you can see, this is ODC, right? Now, in order to get here, you just go to odyse.com and you search for Tail Ministries. And if you have problems finding it, you can always send me an email. You can always catch us on Facebook. Right, I'm always on Facebook. Yakoba Evil. So this is ODC. ODC is going to be my #1 location, fam, as an alternative. I'm gonna get to your question, my brother Majors, in a sec. All right, so the other backup channel is BitChute. Search for Tail Ministries. You should be able to find it, or just search for Tail. That's what I do on BitChute. It comes up easier if you just search for Tail. All right, so you can find it there. And this is where the hard-hitting stuff will be. I'm not going to put hard-hitting stuff even on the secondary channel anymore because, they're watching us. So I'll be posting in like, we do have a Ning website, ning.com/Tail Ministries. So understand that that's where things are going to be. So let me scroll up here a bit. I missed some questions. All right. I can't. All right. So there's a lot of questions. Let me scroll up, family. Hold on. I missed a few. All right, brother Yakoba, do you think the latest conflict is the start of World War III? I don't know. Personally, what I think is that every time the modern state of Israel needs to gain some political advantage, they start trouble with the Palestinians so that they could come to the table and hash out some agreement. So I don't know, really. They do this all the time. So it's not even on my prophetic radar. I'm sorry. That's what they want us to think it is. It's not on mine. I mean, it may be relevant. But I say if you see Turkey gets involved in Russia and China, then it's relevant. Other than that, I don't think it's relevant. All right, let's see what else. All right, my question is CERN real? Yes, CERN is very real. You can go and look that up. It is. Now, whether they're doing what they say they're doing, all you could do is take them for their word, I guess. It is real. And I can't answer any questions about the lollipop. I can't do that because they're gonna mess with me. They're watching me. They think there was. Let's see what else we got. All right. Do we stay in our respective places of captivity and fight, or do we leave Babylon and fight from afar? That's a personal question. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if it was up to me and I had the ability, I wouldn't be here. I'm not telling you to leave. Don't get it twisted. You do as you're led. If I had the ability, I would be out. That's me. That's just me. It ain't about being a coward. It's about knowing what's coming and what's here. See, the Bible says we're gonna flee. Some of us gonna flee. So that's how I look at it. But that's an individual thing. If you got the means, pray about it. Yeah, so I already answered that one. I don't think it's worth anything really in the prophetic timeline. If you see Russia and China joining and Turkey, then it's relevant. Otherwise, it's just another one of those, deceptions that they got going on. All right, let's see. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know that. Lebanon just got involved in launch rockets. We'll see. Like I said, it's of no interest to me until I see Russia, China, Turkey, one of them get involved. Then it's of interest to me. Otherwise, it means nothing. That's just my opinion, because I've seen these people do this over and over again. Now, if I miss your question, just repost it, because sometime I lose them. Well, if this happens, then I'll be interested. Yeah, me too, brother Keith. I wish I did have the means. Will Yah raise leaders to lead out Israel, or will it be supernatural angels? Good question. I mean, personally, this is just my opinion. Just based upon what I see from scriptures, angels are going to, but yes, I believe modern Israel is a distraction. That's my opinion as well. You did a video saying there would be a population decrease. Well, yeah. I had the information in there too. If you go find that video, I don't remember which one it is. I had the information in there. I mean, their own writings say there will be population decrease. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I went silent, family. Can y'all hear me now? If you can hear me, hit one. I didn't realize I went silent. If you can hear me, hit a one, please. Okay, I see a one. Give me a few more ones, and I know everything. Okay. All right. So, all right. What do you think about Isaiah 60 when it says the riches of the sea shall be converted unto thee? My opinion is that all of the wealth of the sea, right? All of the fishes, every nation needs seafood, right? That's just my guess. Maybe there's more to it. There's always a possibility of a deeper meaning. What book of the Bible should we read to comfort us in these times? All of it. All of it. Be honest with you. Let me let me answer that better. You know what I like? Be honest with you. I like to read the 12 patriarchs. And that's who the pitagraphia. Um, that's what I like. And I like Mimi Mo's version of it as well, with the music and the images. That helps give me comfort as well. That just for me. Um, I mean, because all the prophecies of what's supposed to happen, and that your God has not forsaken you. So, we know those. I think it's more so about how we should be as a people and how we should love one another. Will the alerts of ODC and BitChute be posted on Tail Facebook group? Yes, I will post every time on Facebook group. If you join the Ning site as well, I'll post in there. It's just that Ning doesn't get a lot of traction, so I haven't really been posting too much, because most people are either on Hebrew Sphere or Facebook. So if you want to know about the ODC and BitChute videos I'll be doing in the future, always look in Hebrew Sphere, and I will post in Facebook. Yeah, my brother Steven be leaving. Pray for us, bro. Let's see what else. Oh, Ireland came down on Israel. Cool. Thank you, A.M. Stone, for the gift. Sorry I missed you. And anyone who may have given and missed thanking you. All right, let's see. All right, scrolling up a little bit. Yeah, I like Mimi mode very much. Let's see. Could you repeat what you said about the angels coming? The audio went out. Yes, I believe that the angels will be involved in our exodus. That's my opinion. Based upon what I see in scripture, that doesn't mean men won't. I mean, we can't say just because one will, another group won't. That's still possible, but from what I see in scriptures, I think that may be the case. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, these are good motivating scriptures here. Definitely. What happened to the American Hebrews who were being deported? Did they leave before the war started? I have no idea. Be honest with you. What's happening over there? I'm not of interest in. I don't think that modern Israel is prophetic in any way. I don't believe that's our land. In the past, I thought it was our land. I don't believe that's our land. So, modern state of Israel is not important to me. That's just my position. What's your opinion on the next 6 months? I don't know. Be honest with you. I'm scared for the world. Let's put it that way. I'm scared for the world. Read between the lines. Go watch the video that I told you about. I'm scared for the world. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, definitely take off the European glasses. What is Mimi Mode? It's a YouTube channel. Check it out. Just search for Mimi Mode. It'll come up. Please, can you post a link on here? Which link do you want? The DC and Bishop? I could put it in there. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let me put it. We'll see if it stays in there. All right, I put it in there. Hopefully you can click on it or they let it through and not filter through AI or something. That happens too. Let's see. Thank you for watching and waiting for the gift. Has Daniel 9:27 already happened? So I don't believe that Daniel 9:27 has anything to do with the Antichrist. I believe that, I don't know if you've seen my video on it. You can see what I believe about Daniel 9:27 by looking at the video. I don't believe that has anything to do with today. So let's see. All right. Oh, you're in Tanzania now? Give us your link. Put it in the chat so that everybody could check out your channel if you have one. I like to see what's happening, especially when the Israelites are out there. Let's see. But is water baptism a salvation issue? I don't think it's a salvation issue. I think it's an obedience issue. I think salvation is true faith in Yeshua and Him alone, but definitely an obedience issue. Because some people die and they never got baptized, right? But they had faith. So, that's my opinion on it. I would do it though. I would do everything that Bible tells me to do. 12 patriarchs. Okay, let's see. Yes. Exactly. And this is what I'm looking forward to. This is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for that Jehoshaphat situation. Or the days of Noah, people making fun of those who don't agree with the cookie. Yeah, they are. What about the two witnesses? Has that happened yet? Obviously not. Um, I think we're years off before that. As I mentioned in other shows, I believe that a lot of the prophecies are still hundreds of years out. Right? We can't put everything in a compressed time frame. That's how I see it. I because remember, Israel got to go back to the land. Israel going to be dwelling safely. Israel's going to be invaded again. Ezekiel 38. There's a lot that has to happen. So I don't think the two witnesses are coming anytime soon. That's just my opinion. How do you feel about UA? Y'all know how I feel about UA family. Y'all know. All right, let's see what else. How do I listen to that guy you recommended? What was his name? You gonna have to refresh my memory. Family, what guy I recommended? I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah, more than likely. More than likely. Yeah, it's easy to talk a good game. I want to see action. You know what I'm saying? They always do that foolishness. They say, "Well, Turkey gonna get involved, Pakistan gonna get involved, so and so," and they never do nothing. Nah, I'll see it when I see it. Not buying it. Yakoba, you sound weary. The Most High has not left you, neither have we. If they coming hard at you, you know you are doing right by the Most High. He was hated, so will we. Yeah, I'm not really. It's really my allergies. I'm not upset or anything. My allergies bothering me today. I do live in Louisiana, but I'm good. Thank you for the love, Chantel. You know, let's see. You think Bill works for the Most High on the evil side? Okay, all right. Let's see. Let me know if those links work for y'all, family, that I put in the chat. Let's see. What would you say to people wanting to start a family? Can children be brought into this world? That's a personal choice. That's a personal choice. I'd be concerned right now. If you're young, I'd think about waiting. That's just my opinion. See how things go. Um, so, and definitely you're gonna, have to make sure that, you know, it's gonna be a good environment for them, right? I mean, the way things are, the world is crazy. I'm like droughts and famine and all kind of plagues and it's, uh like I say, it's a personal choice. I think twice about delaying if you're young. That's a tough one. The guy on BitChute at the beginning of this video. No. That was my backup channel. No. The guy I shared, he gave the name of the video. That's why I shared it. He gave the name of the video. I was just sharing my backup channel. That's all. Will you be on D Live? I'm on D Live right now. I'm streaming. Right. So D Live will always go live. Right. The only thing about D Live is that it's not saving any backup one. So if you miss the live stream, you'll have to go to the backup channel. For real though. Right there. For real. That's very important. Thanks for letting me know that the links work. So the links I put in the chat, family, work. Do you think Israelites who are ill will be healed before leaving this land? Yes, I do. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm not fully healthy either. Remember, I told y'all I was sick. I'm better. I'm not completely healthy. I do believe that. I mean, that's what the scripture seems to indicate, that before we leave, we're going to be healed. The blind shall see, the deaf shall hear, the lame shall walk. The question is, will Israelites be doing the healing, laying on hands? Interesting. Let's see. Thank you, Lynn, for the gift. What do you think we should be looking for or seeking next prophetically as a people? Messiah said he was sending Elijah like prophet first to restore all things. What are your take? See, it all depends on your eschatology. And I mean, could an Elijah appear now? Yes. Do I think so? No. Prophetically, I'm expecting World War III. And after that, the second Exodus. Based upon everything I'm seeing, we seem to be near that. We'll see, though. As I mentioned, I don't think we have many options but to have an Exodus. That's why I say I'm not mad at anybody who goes to Africa. It's a smart move, in my opinion, if you can. Now, don't say Tell Ministries told me to do it. You pray and ask the Most High. I'm telling you what I would do if I had the means. Well, I just saw the parts of it that Benaiah Israel did. I watched 2 episodes. I couldn't get past that. Right. I mean, I didn't enjoy it, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. Where are the scriptures in canon that talk about Israel's awakening? Outside of the dry bones, I remember you mentioned them in another video. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of videos on that. Go look at the playlist. Got a bunch of videos on that. I got the awakening of the Gentiles. I got the awakening of Israel. I got all that. So look at the 400-year prophecies as well. They cover that as well. So let's see. What is your thoughts about Billy Carson's analysis of epigenetic memories affect 15 to 20 gen? I don't know anything about him. I don't know who that is. When do you think the mark of the beast will be implemented? Before or after World War III? Before. That's what I think. I mean, I hope what may happen is that maybe World War III will interrupt the mark of the beast program, and therefore it would be pushed out a few hundred years. But that, this is an initial push by the enemy to try to implement it, but maybe it will get postponed. Because there's a lot of things that I see on the timeline of, like, for instance, when the Most High, when Yeshua returns, he casts a false prophet and the Antichrist into the lake of fire. So if that were to happen now, there's a whole bunch of prophecies that wouldn't come to pass, at least the way I see it. And, so I think we still have a lot of time on this earth before Armageddon. So I think maybe, this could be the beginning stages of it, but maybe it might get postponed. That's just a thought. Or it may be full-fledged mark of the beast. Excuse me. It may end up being full-fledged mark of the beast. I mean, who knows? It's definitely on its way to being it. We were told the religion voodoo was evil. Do you believe it is evil? Yes, I do. I believe voodoo is evil. Yes, it was too much for me also. Okay. Do you still collaborate with Dante? Me and Dante still cool. Dante been busy. Let's see. I'm leery of keeping my money in the stock market. Anybody investing in gold and silver? My opinion is, when it comes to gold and silver, get the kind you can keep on your person or in your house, right? Because if you get the, just the certificates that represent what you got, then that could disappear. I mean, I have a little silver. Gold is so expensive. It's a good, if you got money, it's a good way to try to maintain your value, because gold will never be zero. Silver will never be zero. Now, I got some crypto. Crypto can be zero overnight, right? Easy, because there's no value in it other than people's, feelings. Even though I have some crypto, don't get it twisted, because I'm like, well, if you don't put your foot in the water, it's not gonna get wet. So some people making money on crypto, but if you want to maintain wealth, gold and silver, definitely. If you got it like that. Let's see. Do you think there's gonna be Do you think there's gonna be a transformation of those of us that survive the sword and make it into the land, becoming first partakers, similar to the glory of the Most High that was almost? Yes, I do. I think in order for the Gentiles to be drawn to the brightness of our rising and the glory of God upon us, and they're going to see it, I think something like that may happen. Don't mean I'm right, but definitely a possibility. Is this a question for me that you tell them where true Jerusalem is? I mean, I have my guesses. So I got my guesses on where Jerusalem is. I got videos on that if you want to watch it. Oh, women going in the second Exodus, of course, just like women was in the first. Israelite women, that is, and some of those who attach themselves to Israel. They say 2024 is next eclipse that will make an X over North America. It happens in the month of April 2024, and I think that's around Passover. Have you looked into that? If so, what's your thought? I've seen it. One thing I'm not is a person who understands anything about celestial signs and stuff. Some of the stuff they talk about makes sense. I don't know. I really can't. I'm like, I don't think anybody knows, because we haven't inherited that knowledge. That's just my opinion. What drop you think about the gates of portals? I don't understand that question. Maybe you could rephrase that. I might miss some questions, family. So I mean, it's just a bit hard. I don't know how to put it on slow mode. I'm gonna have to figure that out. What are your thoughts about so-called African Americans that say the transatlantic slave trade never happened? Oh my goodness. You know how I feel about that. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't. I just don't understand it. Let me put it that way. I'm gonna try not to be mean. Do you think Babylon would get in this war if Turkey get into the war? Yeah. I think if Turkey gets into the war, then America probably would. Iran would get in. That'll bring everybody, maybe. Unless, because see, here's the problem I have. Turkey for the longest had been an ally of NATO. So anything they do today could, really just be a psyop, right? Um, I don't trust Turkey as far as I could throw them. Did I understand you to believe that our true land is around Ethiopia? Yes, that's where I think it is. Uh, that's my number one thoughts. Is in that area over in East Africa. I mean, I truly believe that all of our land is sub-Saharan Africa, all the way from the Niger River to uh, the Nile. I believe all of that is what you would call the land of Israel, because Israel is where the people are. But I believe Jerusalem is probably in that area around Ethiopia, what we call Ethiopia. I can't prove it yet, but there's a lot of stuff that seems to point towards that. I have a secondary theory as well and a third theory, but that's my prime theory. Will those angels that deliver Israel be considered aliens? Will we be warned against them by media? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows how that's going to play out? If we look at biblical examples, we only saw angels walking on the earth, right? And going up to people, not coming down in ships. Now, that doesn't mean Ezekiel didn't see things in the sky. So I can't, I don't know. I don't understand this question. I don't get it. Let's see. I've never heard of the Book of Remembrance. If you could share it with me, that'd be great. What do I think about the Ethiopian calendar? I think that's the legitimate calendar. And I find it interesting that last year was 2012, right? And they were telling us about all of the hell that was supposed to break out in 2012, which was really 2020, and it did. So who knows? But I do think that's the with the calendar we should be following. I don't know what the ratio. There's going to be more Israelites than Gentiles in the land. And remember, the Bible says that there's going to be so many Israelites that we're going to say, hey, we need more room. So um, I don't know how many Gentiles will be. I think it's going to be small just for the fact that Israel is going to be so many. What's your take on the people that was kicked out of Israel, but for all hell to break loose? Eh, I really don't know. I think there's a reason though that you know. See, my understanding is that they were supposed to be, still fighting that, so they haven't left. So I don't think it really means anything then for them to for this fight to break out and those few families leaving. Are you ready to do an update on the four carpenters? There's not much to say about the four carpenters, be honest, other than what we see in Zechariah. So we'll see. I'm just looking for the event itself. Did that guy who was calling us dummies ever come on to debate you? No, we had a discussion. This was a Facebook conversation. We had a discussion on the side, and it was fruitless. It really was. I mean, look, if we talking about apples and he talking about oranges, we can't have a conversation, right? Do you think there would be another lockdown? Yeah, I do. I think the lockdown gonna come because of not just that, but lack of food, lack of water, chaos, internal fights. So I don't think it's just gonna be like the first time. I think it's gonna be worse. Do you feel that now is the time the enemy is wearing out the saints using undiagnosed sicknesses, chronic fatigue, technology? Yeah, I do. I really do. I think Israel has been tormented since her existence. I think in the last 20, 30 years, they've been making us ill on purpose, so people dying of cancer, people dying of all kind of things. And I think it's the powers that be. I mean, even allergies, right? We have allergies. I think all of that is them. I don't think it ever existed before. I don't think it's natural. That's my opinion. I don't give medical advice, but that's my opinion. Do you think Dane Calloway will debate you? No, and a lot of people telling me don't get back on the block. Well, I gave the offer out there because I knew he wouldn't take it. Right, I knew he wouldn't take it, so I wasn't worried about getting back on the block. Because I've talked to a whole bunch of people that believe the way he does, and they refuse to come on. Right, I don't really care anymore. To be honest with you, believe what you believe. You know, like what I saw with the people, you know, the woman with the shopping bags and putting gasoline in shopping bags. I'm like, if people gonna do that, they'll do anything, right? They're gonna believe anything. So I can't help people like that. I'm not debating no more. I'm not. Even if he contacts me now, it's fruitless. People gonna believe what they want. What do you believe would be the estimate? Okay, I already answered that one. Yeah, I just answered this one. So let's see. Should I move closer to my Israelite family? I live alone in northern Arizona. Only 3 people look like me. I thought I may be safe away from the city. Look, I wouldn't be living over there around them people. I'm sorry. I'm gonna live around my own. You ain't gonna have no help if hell breaks loose. I'm telling you. So you know, that's just me. That video is at the sites I told you all this at. ODC and BitChute. Thank you for the gift, Ebri. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. So if that's it, I'm gonna close it out. So family, make sure you sign up. You know, the links are in the chat to the other video channels, you know, ODC and BitChute, and you know, also prepare, you know, both spiritually and physically. And we are really in some tough times. We really are. Most people not gonna see it, and that's sad. And I told you, everybody not gonna make it. Some people don't like it. It is what it is. You can't save everybody. That's just the way it is. Love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending.